new React component can be created from the project tree. You can select component type. When you are in the context of functional React component, you can use one of the live templates for hooks provided by React Body. For instance, live template for useState automatically generates setter name. React Body detects hooks and highlights them as Gata icons. A very common task in React is rendering some array-like data as list. React Body provides postfix completion for such cases, so if you type map on array-like object, it will be unfolded as JSX list. We will try to guess the correct key for items. For any JSX element, we provide an intention which allows to generate handler. It creates function with the corresponding name and parameters with correct types. The same functionality is available as quick fix if you already specified the prop. The similar quick fix and intention are provided for ref generation. It infers correct ref generic type, which sometimes might be helpful. Let's create some markup and then move it to a separate component. For this purpose, we can use IntelliJ's refactor this action. Here we can choose the extract component option and specify the new component name. We can move the component to a separate file using the intention provided by IntelliJ. Let's get back to our original file. Here is another great functionality provided by React Body. It allows to add non-existent props to your components. If you specify the value right away, the plugin will infer the type and set it to the prop declaration. For example, if you pass an event handler function, we will identify its parameter types and return type and add it to the prop declarations. Okay, sometimes we want to wrap some function or event handler into use callback. React Body provides the intention to do so. It automatically generates dependencies array. If your project has configured ESLint rules for React hooks, you can create dependencies array using quick fix provided by ESLint. But if ESLint is not added to the project dependencies or don't have required plugins, React Body will help to do the same. Sometimes you need to wrap a component into React Mema. There is an intention which can be invoked on the component name. There are also Gata icons for event handlers, which navigate you to the JSX. Let's talk about JSX Outline. It's a visual tool React Body provides to understand the structure of files containing React components. You can open it using the icon in the code editor. It displays React components inside the file, as well as JSX structure, React hooks and handlers. It lets you to reorder elements in JSX markup, also reorder components inside the file. In the plugin preferences, you can toggle an option which allows you to save the state of the JSX outline across new editors, so that when you open a new editor, the JSX outline will be automatically displayed. A really cool feature of the React Body is a component preview. There is a Gutter icon which allows you to run the preview, and in order to use this function you need to configure the project. React Body helps with this process. It brings required dependency and adds all required files to your project. Also, you need to wrap your root component into React Body's dev support tag. Also, React Body allows you to set up the preview, for example, initializing some global state or logging in some user. Once setup is done, you can open the preview for any exported component. React Body will use the project's development server, and the preview will be opened inside the IDE. And the main feature of this preview is an ability to navigate between code and visually rendered elements. So you just click on the element and you are navigated to the code, and vice versa. There is a mode which highlights component re-renders. Also, you can disable highlighting and play with the interface. Use the settings context menu to configure the component displayed in the preview. For example, let's add some new prop to the component and specify it in the preview configuration. If the preview is stuck, you can reload or reinitialize it. Also, you can use regular dev tools with the React Body's preview. React Palette tool window is available when any TSX or JSX file is opened. The idea of the React Palette is to give the developer a list of reusable components from a library or from the project. The palette has code preview as well as visual preview of the components. You can see different variants of components as well as play with them interactively. Also, there is a link to documentation, brings you to the website. The coolest thing here is that this palette is not read-only, so you can drag and drop components right into the code editor or double-click to paste them into the code. This component can contain not only JSX but quite complex structures such as hooks or event handlers. The palette is configured inside the project. You can open the palette TSX file or easily navigate to it from the palette tool window. Here we can add already existing palettes from dependencies as well as components from your project. We provide ready-to-use palettes for popular React UI libraries. For example, if a project has undesign as a dependency, the plugin will detect it and show the notification suggesting to install React Body Palette. Alternatively, you can do it from the package.json. You can easily add any component from your project to a palette using the corresponding intention. You can select category and variant name, and as soon as the component is added to the palette, it can be used for code generation. Also, inside the palette TSX file, there is a link to open Palette Editor, which helps you to add components from project and dependencies in a batch. Instead of palette tool window, you can also use code generation action to add components from the palette. It displays all the variants, lets you to perform search and to see the preview of visual components. You can get the plugin from the JetBrains marketplace, just type React. If you really like the plugin, please leave a review. Also, if you have any ideas or feedback, please join our Discord channel. Thanks for your attention. Stay tuned.